All right, we're live. We're live. We're live. We are, yes. And the first thing I am going to point out is that we're not in a bomb shelter.
We were.
But we were. But we were. Yes. Oh, my live just unexpectedly shut down. It says it's shut down, but it's still going. Can you check it out? Well, and there's viewers. Guys, is my live going? It told me I just shut down unexpectedly. I thought I said something wrong. All right. Okay, yeah. So you may have heard, if you're not living under a rock, you may have heard that there was just this massive attack of ballistic missiles fired by Iran at Israel. I'm still here. Emily just told me I'm still here. Yes. Not just me, others too. Okay.
On YouTube, but
Tony's checking. Oh, you can see. All right. Everybody can see me. Can you let me know if you're watching from YouTube or Facebook? Because we're just having technical difficulties here. Anyway, it just said for some reason the feed just told me that you've been kicked off the live. And then yet I see the counter. But anyway, let's count other things. Let's count missiles. Can you guess how many were fired tonight at Israel? You want to take a guess? Did you hear already? Did I say it? Okay, yeah, I'm live on Facebook, by the way. Thank you. All right. Was it dozens? Was it dozens of missiles? Was it 100 missiles? 181 ballistic missiles fired at Israel. We got these insane, what do you call it? Alerts. I'm going to try to find you the most insane one that I saw. But let me take you to earlier in the day. Early in the today, we at around 2 o'clock. The normal back and forth is going on between Israel, which has not Israel has not let up in its attacking of Lebanon and Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. That's still going on, and then Hezbollah, who had their leader assassinated by Israel a couple days ago. I don't even remember what day. It's like all a blur. What day was that?
I don't know what day, but
I have no idea what day. No, it's like days. It's like
Nasrallah,
a couple
no,
days.
I'm talking about the whole.
Yeah, the whole thing, the beepers 2 weeks ago, whatever. It's insane. And so all of that was going on, and then suddenly at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we got announcements saying that the Home Front Command has changed the what do you say? How do you say anchayot? The instructions. The has changed the instructions, and while it was previously like and you could do anything in Jerusalem and just the northern communities and the southern communities that are closer to enemy borders or whatever, that they were supposed to maybe limit gatherings and stuff like that. And also there hasn't been school in from Haifa north for about 2 weeks, but suddenly it was like changing the instructions for everybody across, almost everybody across the country. Like I see like Jerusalem, I'm like, why Jerusalem? Nothing ever happens in Jerusalem. And they said limiting gatherings, and then started getting messages like school after school activities gonna be canceled. Lucas had a basketball game, was canceled. Ryan, could you put that lower? Just got like Peppa Pig or VeggieTales on this side and TikTok or something on the other. So all of this started coming in throughout the day, and then it started getting serious, like even more limiting of gatherings, and the Western Wall shut down. And this is the month of, it's called Slich, not the month, but it's called Slichot, which means repentance. And this is the month where in the Jewish calendar, we're leading up to the Jewish holidays, which Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, starts tomorrow. Tomorrow night, everybody goes, the Jews go to the Western Wall to pray, and they have like these specific prayers for forgiveness and everything. And this is leading up to the Day of Atonement, which would be, I guess, a week after the New Year, Rosh Hashanah. And even the Western Wall, which has been getting thousands, if not tens of thousands of people a day for prayers, had to shut it down and say, like, no, nobody's coming here to pray. And I mean, when they take things that seriously, then something's up. And I'll tell you something. I just heard Chuck Holton. He's a war correspondent, and he frequently comes and covers the stuff going on here in Israel, but he's also been in the Ukraine, everywhere. Anyway, he knows a lot about the military tactics, and he understands a lot more of Israel's defensive systems. And he was saying on one of his live streams the other day that that Israel is getting, that they have AI that can predict where and when missile attacks are going to come in. And I was like, what? You can't do that. You can't do, how do you know? How can AI do that? Well, sure enough, I mean, this must be part of it, because how else would they know? And also, here's something else that they knew. Last time in April, you may have joined me in April for our show, our display of drones up in the air, when it was just like, first we saw the drones and then the sirens kicked in. And I think Iran fired 350 drones at Israel. The drones take 9 hours to get across from Iran through Jordan, however exactly they come, and Syria, whatever, and then get to Israel. The ballistic missiles only take 12 minutes. So I think that's why this warning from the Home Front Command felt so much more intense and take it seriously than the last one. Because the last one, it was like almost funny, like you're sitting here waiting and you're like, all right, so if it takes 12 hours, the drones will get here, or not 12 hours, 9 hours. The drones take 9 hours. The missiles take 12 minutes. And then there's another type of missile that only takes 2 hours. So we spent that night waiting, and then, we went to the shelter, and it was maybe a half hour out of our time. This was intense. I'm going to show you now the picture of the red alerts. The red alerts, it was all of Israel. All of Israel got sirens, and every single person in the country was like supposed to be, look, all the way down to the south. There was a report. I mean, they were flying right over Gaza. Well, this is Gaza. Gaza was getting sirens. Beersheba, Jerusalem, all the way up. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is like unprecedented. So then if you watch the live from the bomb shelter, so Lucas reminded me of this. I had just done some shopping, and an event I was supposed to go to at 6:30 had been canceled. So I was like, all right, I've got time. Let me do some shopping, because tomorrow is the holiday and things close. And things will close like around 2:00 or something in the afternoon. So I'm like, let me get it done now. And then I had the kids come down and help me bring the stuff up. And they're like, so what's happening? We're hearing this in the news, and is there, what's going to happen? And I was like, probably nothing here. The big warnings are for Tel Aviv area. And then Lucas said, I just have a feeling that we're going to get a siren here like in the next hour. And I'm like, no, it's Jerusalem. We're not going to get a siren. Well, within probably 10 minutes, we got a siren. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. Oh, by the way, there's now sirens going on in the north as well. So probably that's from Lebanon, probably not from Iran. So we get down to the shelter, of course, after fumbling with like shoes and this and that, whatever. And the whole neighborhood's in there. Like it's not just our building, but like people walking by, people who were at a restaurant next door. There were probably 40 people in a shelter. It was standing room only. I mean, we got the couch actually, luckily, but because we were there for a good half hour, I would say, at least a half hour. The sirens never stopped. And also, basically, the instruction came out from the home front command, everybody go into shelters and do not come out until we say. Now, usually it's don't come out for 10 minutes after the siren. This time it was don't come out until we say. So after that, we left. It was a long time in there. Finally, we came upstairs, and the Israeli military spokesman gave a speech, and he said two things. He said was like they don't believe that there's another round at this time, but just pay attention to any more instructions. And the second thing he said was we will be responding at the time of our choosing. And a lot of people are saying that this is going to be a very powerful response to Iran. Now, usually what Israel does is attacks like their assets, like whether it's oil fields or any part of their nuclear program. So it remains to be seen what will be. So now, of course, all of this is happening in the to the backdrop of this ongoing war. It started in Gaza almost a year ago, 361 days ago, when on October 7th, when Hamas invaded into Israel and also took hostages. There are still 101 hostages, not all of whom are believed to be alive at this time, but 101 hostages are still in Gaza. There is still a war in Gaza. There are still Israeli soldiers there. There's still humanitarian crisis. There's still displaced people living in tents. And there's still debate about how that is going to end. And that's another episode for another time. In the meantime, what's really taken all of the attention is what's happening up north, because in Lebanon, you've got Hezbollah, which has been anxiously trying to get involved, or not trying to get involved. They were very in control of the situation, actually, and started firing rockets on October 8th. And since then, just firing at a very steady pace, nothing to provoke Israel too much. But Israel, in the meantime, evacuated about 60,000 residents from the northern border, and they cannot go back because the rockets are going into their neighborhoods. So Israel finally decided, okay, like what they said was, we're going to move the center of the war. Now it looks like Gaza's under control. It's moved the center of the war is going to be now in the north. And then that took on a different crazy course, because instead of just like in Gaza, where it's just kind of like slogging through and it's real guerrilla urban warfare, ground warfare, Israel had very specific missions in Lebanon, because Hezbollah is based in Lebanon, which was to attack the Hezbollah neighborhood stronghold, Dahia suburb of Beirut. And I didn't even get to the news before the news. And in addition to that, using all of is the intelligence that it had also had the Trojan beepers. thousands of beepers that went off in the hands of Hezbollah operatives and took them out and destroyed their communication. And then the next day, the walkie talkies. And then the next day, a targeted assassination of a very key commander. And then a couple days after that, don't remember which day, it was just a couple days ago. What day was it? I'm trying to remember where I was. Was it a Friday? Nasrallah. What day was it? I don't even know what day today is. I think it's Tuesday. Today is a Tuesday, and it's October 1st. Things are moving too fast. So when they took out Hassan Nasrallah, that really rocked the Middle East, I have to say, because Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah is the head of Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the largest proxy out there for Iran, and one of the biggest threats, the biggest threat to Israel. And when they took him out, it was this crazy reaction of grief on one side and to joy and celebration on the other side. And I'm talking in the Arab world. Like, the Arab world is divided on Hezbollah, and many Arabs were happy to see him go. Many Lebanese, many in Syria, where Hezbollah joined Iran and Assad and the Syrian regime in fighting the rebels, and in actually not just fighting them, but starving them, leaving them out to die, putting a siege on some towns. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. So anyway, this sort of rocked the Middle East, and I think it's still reeling. And what you saw happen tonight with Iran was Iran coming to take vengeance for this assassination. So in the meantime, what happened in 10 minutes, half hour before the missiles came in? There was a terror attack in Jaffa, which is just south of Tel Aviv. And I think 6 people killed plus the 2 terrorists. I think that's what it is right now. But imagine, they were still responding to the scene when the sirens went off around the entire country. So people are still trying to grasp, like, okay, wait, we have these instructions to stay near a shelter. Then we have there's this terror attack. What happened here? And before you can even comprehend that there was a terror attack, everybody in the country was running for a shelter. We also know that the American embassy put out a message to all its employees to get to their house and stay in their home and near a shelter, and they are not to leave their house until they get further instructions. And that was like an hour before as well. The sirens went off. And I don't know, let's take a look at some of the videos that I have. And then actually, well, there's another thing I want to also tell you guys about. All right, let's see. So you can see here, this is what it looked like. And some of these rockets fell in open, that doesn't look like an open place, but it is. All right, so I have another one. Oh, wait. Let me switch it out so you guys can see it for real. There you go. All right, I have another one. This is actually, you know who we see? You know who was seeing that was Tony's mom. Tony's mom was actually watching this from her window. And by the way, we have she doesn't have a shelter in her building, and she wasn't going to go to one anyway. We also have some people in our building who don't even come out of their apartment, let alone go down to the shelter. And so we checked on one of them, and she comes out and she's like, we're like, oh, should we wake you up or not? No, she's like, listen, I survived the Holocaust. I'm definitely going to survive this. So don't wake me up. Thank you. So I was like, wow, okay. All right. And then all right, we've got another big story of the day, which occurred right before, this was the big story when we woke up. And I didn't even get a chance to read or comprehend the news before we were, running to the shelter. Okay, so this would have been what we talked about. So the Israeli army actually did a small ground invasion. Well, I don't know if it was small. They didn't stay there. Let's put it that way. Into Lebanon, and they actually found a bunch of information that. Wait, this is revealed that even before it officially launched ground operations in southern Lebanon earlier in the day, its troops had conducted dozens of secret cross-border raids throughout the current war. So yeah, so everybody was talking today, and like the headlines in the US and like outside of Israel were like, Israel begins ground invasion. But actually what they said today, they revealed that they've been doing these mini ground invasions. And so then they had a briefing to see what they revealed. I actually have that. So why don't we switcheroo to that one? All right.
That the residents of northern Israel,
This is the spokesperson for the Israeli army. This is Daniel Hagari.
can return to their home in safety and security without the threat of Hezbollah on their doorstep. During these operations, IDF special forces entered into Hezbollah compounds in dozens of locations along the border with Israel, collected intelligence, dismantled Hezbollah's weapons and terrorist infrastructures. Our soldiers entered Hezbollah's underground infrastructures, exposed Hezbollah's hidden weapon caches, and seized and destroyed the weapons, including advanced Iranian-made weapons. Overall, IDF soldiers exposed and dismantled over 700 Hezbollah terror assets during these operations. And there's a lot more work to do. Tonight, I will declassify details of 3 of these special operations. This is the village of Misl Jabal. It is a Lebanese village close to the border with Israel, only a few hundred meters away from the Israeli city of Kiryat Shmona. Since the beginning of the war, the majority of over 20,000 residents of Kiryat Shmona had to evacuate their homes after coming under fire from Hezbollah's relentless attacks. We have operated against hundreds of terrorist targets embedded inside Misl Jabal, which directly threaten the city of Kiryat Shmona and the wider northern region.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead a little bit and see like other things that they uncovered. Let's see what we got.
The troops conducted a targeted raid on the house and revealed a large amount of weapons stored on the ground floor.
That's great.
In the basement, our soldiers found an elevated platform built to hide a shaft that led to an underground tunnel. The soldiers exposed the tunnel 150 meters long that did not cross into Israeli territory, that was excavated in stone. At the end of the activity, we dismantled the tunnel and the house in a joint ground and aerial strikes.
So this is they are also saying they prevented a massive plan for a ground invasion that would have been like on par with Hamas's October 7th. You see the title of this video is the Hezbollah's plan to conquer the Galilee.
The tunnel where they found large numbers of weapons stored in the living compounds. At the end of the operation, All of the infrastructure built by Hezbollah over many years was dismantled in a joint ground and aerial activity. The operation that we declassified tonight are only a small number of dozens of operations that will be revealed going forward, including the destruction of Hezbollah's strategic assets and capabilities. Hezbollah has built, prepared, and equipped this infrastructure over many years in preparation for the day that it would carry out an invasion into northern Israel. In one of the buildings that our troops raided, we found proof of this.
Here it is.
This is a map that Hezbollah planned to give its terrorists at the time of a wide-scale invasion into the state of Israel, as part of its Conquer the Galilee plan to carry out an October 7th massacre in Israel's north. As you can see on the map, there is a key marking Israeli communities, IDF posts, access roads, and targets for attack. We found this map on one of the compounds that was supposed to be used by thousands of Hezbollah terrorists on the day they carried out their invasion.
All right. There's more from that video. I can post the link if you're interested, or you can search for Israel Defense Forces and see what they have on their channel. But this is how this was today. I mean, it's the day started with this and ended with the fireworks that we had tonight. So of course, this is always like the last thing we ever say, and it should probably be the first. No, don't want that. I don't want that. Hold on. Stop sharing. There we go. All right. There were almost no injuries. There was apparently one death, a Palestinian from Gaza who was in Jericho at the time. That's the initial report. No injuries from this. And I guess most of the rockets were shot down, the missiles, and some of them landed in open spaces. The ones that did, you have to see the pictures. I should have found a picture before I did this, but of these, they're massive, and they landed almost intact. I think they were saying that it was taken down not by Iron Dome, but by the Arrow. And so that's interesting. There's a fun fact for you. And that's it. I think that was okay. All right. So anyway, that's I think that's it, guys. Did I miss anything?
No, we just want to go to bed.
Oh my God, they're waiting for me because we're gonna go to bed.
Well, we're gonna try to go to bed.
There's not going to be anything. I don't think there's going to be anything more tonight. They said that's it for, well, Israel says they believe that's it for tonight. Iran said they took complete responsibility for this. They said we must do this to avenge Nasrallah's death. And they said, and Israel better not attack us back. And let's see if I can actually find the official statement. Oh, he has one in Hebrew. Oh my gosh. Khamenei, the Ayatollah, he says in Hebrew, Bezrat Hashem Makot. He's all right. With God's help, the blows of the uprising front will become stronger and more painful on the worm and rotting body of the Zionist regime. So that is the message from Iran's leader to Israel. And I wanted to see if he had an official statement. Okay. So that's it. That's where we stand now. Now we just all try to calm down and go to bed and see like what happens and how Israel's going to respond. So anyway, tomorrow I might be going up to the north. I was supposed to be going on a trip, and it's not canceled. I was just checking that right now. So if I do that, I'll probably have some more interesting things. Although I think the most interesting may have just happened tonight, and it was crazy. So, all right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And 181 missiles, terror attack, 8 people killed. 2 of them might be the perpetrators, and everyone back out of their bomb shelter. So there you go. There's the headline news from Israel. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your well wishes. And tune in to next time. See, this. There hasn't been one slow news day in at least a month. So, if not a year, actually.